Hi guys, I'm Gasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times. And today I am here to let you know some of my most anticipated horror books for 2022.
It's coffee time.
So when a new year starts, you kind of feel fresh. You kind of feel like the new year is full of opportunities in all aspects of your life. And this year is new opportunities to find new favorite books. So I have put together a list of 11 books that I think they might be potentially 5 stars for me, but we shall see. Sometimes things don't work out the way that we want it. But these 11 books are the ones that I am most excited about for 2022. In February, we have the new book by the Dutch author that wrote Hex, which is a book based on witches that I really enjoyed, and his new book is called Echo. And this one sounds kind of intriguing, entertaining, and still perfect for the winter season because we follow a journalist that is on an expedition on the Swiss Alps, and he has an accident with one of his buddies. So this guy Nick, he wakes up in the hospital. He is severely bruised and injured, and when he wakes up, the police tells him that his colleague is still missing. Now Nick claims to have amnesia and not be able to remember what happened to them in this expedition, but Nick remembers everything. This sounds intriguing to me, this sounds perfect to me, and since I really enjoyed his other book Hex, this is one that I'm definitely gonna pick up as soon as I can. In March, we have The Book of Cold Cases by Simone John Jones, and this is a mystery thriller, but it might be one of the ones that I am the most excited about because I absolutely loved The Sundown Motel. That was a surprise for me how much I loved that book. And this one, it is about a true crime blogger that gets more than she bargained for when she interviews a woman that has been kind of cleared of 2 cold cases. And I am like, yes please. True crime blogger, cold cases, and knowing the author, I'm just so excited. And this one is also based on the 70s. One of the things that I absolutely loved the most about The Sundown Motel was the 2 timeline that we had. I know that was the problem for a lot of people with that book, but that made me love it even more, and I am so excited about this one. So in this one, we are gonna follow in the 70s the woman that was accused back in the day, even though she has been now cleared of these charges, but we're gonna follow the woman that was living at the time of the murders. And then we are in 2017 following the present time, following these true crime blogger. So needless to say, we have again a 2 timeline crime investigation, and this is one that I'm gonna have to pre-order because I need it as soon as it comes out. In July, we have Long Live the Pumpkin Quinn by She Enshaw, and I read The Wicked Deep by the author and really enjoyed it. It is a great atmospheric book about witches, and now she comes back with another YA book, but this time is a fantasy retelling based on The Nightmare Before Christmas. And I don't read so much YA fantasy anymore, but this one is based on The Nightmare Before Christmas that I love and adore, so I definitely have to pick this one up and see what the author did with the story and with the characters. The Pallbearers Club by Paul Tremblay, adult horror, and I'm really excited about this one too, also because Paul Tremblay switches between subgenres of horror in all of his books, so every time you get a different experience, and I've always loved what he has done with the material. And this time we have a really intriguing story. We follow a girl in the late 80s. She's weird, I think she's wearing brackets, she listens to hair metal, and she's kind of like a loner, a weirdo if you might say, and she decides to start this club of pallbearers that go to funerals. But not only that, she kind of starts doing something even weirder, which is she takes a Polaroid camera and she takes pictures of the corpses. Yeah, it might be a little bit distasteful. So when she starts doing these things, apparently at night she starts having some sort of visions or something happens to her. She starts to make connection, I think, with something supernatural. That's all I know. I don't want to get too much into it, not get spoiled or anything, but what I know for sure is that expect the unexpected when it comes to Paul Tremblay. The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager. Need to say more, mystery thriller. You guys know I absolutely loved every book by Riley Sager. Of course, ones I love more than others. I do have a ranking video on all his books published so far if you want to check it out. And I am just gonna pick this one up just because it's the new Riley Sager book. He's an autobi author for me. So yeah, that's what it is. Casey is a widowed actress and she is kind of having a rough patch. There's a lot of bad press out there about her and she's trying to kind of stay away from all of that. And her new obsession is her new binoculars and the neighbors. So this sounds like your typical mystery thriller involving neighbors, which, you know, it's done a lot of times before, but I am expecting some punch, some extreme twist from my boy Riley Sager. So basically Casey starts checking out the neighbors. Their marriage seems to be perfect. That is until she starts to get friendly with Catherine, the neighbor's wife, and they start talking to each other and she starts to discover that their marriage might not be as peachy as she thought. And after that, Catherine mysteriously disappears. So of course Casey needs to find out what happened to her. So this is all sounding really cliche and really like overdone, but like I said, with Riley Sager, as well as with Paul Tremblay, there's always something that you're not going to see coming that's going to slap you in the face. And I think that's part of why I love this author so much, is because other books are so predictable to me, but with these two authors, there's always something in their books that I just don't see coming. And I think that's what the thrill is for me. You know, I think that's what really makes me love their books. How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. Now, here's an author that I have a really special relationship with because I kind of enjoy his books, but they are not books that I absolutely love, yet I cannot stop reading his books. It's really weird. It's like, it's not one of my favorite writers or anything, but I find him as an author fascinating. I tend to like the kind of topics he goes for in his books. I have read nearly all of his books. I think I'm only missing to read Horror Store, and so far my favorite has been his last one, The Final Girl Support Group. I'm excited about this one. It's about a haunted house, I believe. There is not really like a synopsis or description on Goodreads. I have not been able to find it, so hopefully it's still gonna be published this year. Some books might be pushed, we don't know yet, but definitely one that I will be picking up and see if I love it or not. Then we have Black Mouth by Ronald Malfi, and I have been completely missing out on this author. I found a copy on NetGalley of Come With Me last year and I read it and I absolutely fell in love with that book. It was one of my surprises, so to say, of 2021, and now I want to devour and read everything else that this author has put out there in the wild. And his new book is pitched to be something similar to It by Stephen King, because it does involve some adults that come back to their hometown to face a nightmare that they first encountered when they were teenagers. And I'm like, those are, you know, really big things that you're putting out there. My expectations are now extremely high with this book, and I'm scared because every time I get really high expectations with something, I proceed with caution. But I'm super excited. We go to August with Don't Fear the Reaper. It is part of the Lake Witch trilogy by Stephen Graham Jones, and this is going to be a direct sequel to My Heart is a Chainsaw. Now, I really enjoyed My Heart is a Chainsaw. I specifically loved all the parts about the slasher one-on-one that were integrated in the book. I thought they were so much fun, and I am excited to see what's going to happen in book 2. A lot of people either loved or hated My Heart is a Chainsaw. I have the feeling that the writing style of Stephen Graham Jones is what is not for everybody. For me, it was not my absolute favorite book that I have ever read, but I really had a good time with that one. So I'm definitely gonna go on in this journey and pick up book 2 and see where it takes me. And then Josh Malerman is gracing us with another book. This time it's called Daphne, and it is supposed to be a female version of Freddy. It's supposed to be a slasher, so automatically interested here. So Daphne is supposed to be these weird, intriguing woman that stalks a group of teenage girls, a basketball team. That is all I know, but it's supposed to be a slasher, and I'm just here for all the fun, all the guts. And so far, I mean, there are some books that I've loved more than others when it comes to Josh Malerman, but I do enjoy his writing style. So this is another one that I really need to check out, especially because it is a slasher. In September, we have Mina and the Slayers. This is the second book by Amy McCall. This is YA horror, and it comes after Mina and the Undead. Now, this time we follow Mina in 1995 in New Orleans, and Mina is having a killer Halloween. So this is not only a book that I'm extremely excited about because I really enjoyed the first book, but it's also a book that is going to be perfect for Halloween. It comes out in September, but I might be tempted to keep this one to read during Halloween season. I'm not really sure. What I can tell you though is I'm gonna be rereading the first book right before the second one is being released. So if you were considering picking up, or you have a copy and want to read Mina and the Undead, maybe you want to wait for August, because I might do a read along with some of you guys, or I might host some sort of like, you know, reread of this book, because I'm really excited for the second part, and I just want to find an excuse to reread it. And last but not least, we have Ghost Eaters by Clay McLeod Chapman, and there is nothing really that I know about this book. There is no synopsis at all. I tried to Google this, but I came up with nothing information. So I'm still hoping that it's going to come out this year, and at some point we're going to get some kind of explanation on what this is about. But I really did enjoy the other novels by the author. I stumbled upon his novel The Remaking, and I decided to pick it up because it was combining horror with movies and movie sets, and I absolutely loved it. And then he released Whisper Down the Lane, which I also picked up and read last year, and I really enjoyed that as well. So I'm really excited to see what he has to offer in his third novel. Alright guys, so here are some of the titles that are being released, hopefully in 2022, that I am really excited about for one reason or another. I know these are more of your typical, you know, more well-known authors. There's nothing really indie here or underground, so let me know if you're, you know, expecting some 2022 books that are not so well known, like authors that are a little bit more unknown. Let me know down below, because I'm always looking for those hidden treasures, for those hidden authors, and I'm always open to read more books by less known authors. And I am planning also on doing a video on, you know, underrated authors, because I've been reading some horror authors that I don't see too many people talking about, that I feel like they deserve a little bit more love. So that video will be coming up this year as well. So as always, I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you are gonna have a great, amazing reading 2022, and we shall see what happens with these book titles when they come out. Will I love them? Will I hate them? Make your bets right now. But most of them I'll try to pick up on the release date, so I can let you know my thoughts on the books and see how it goes. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for all the support, and I hope to see you all, as always, in our next coffee time. Bye!